Hi boys and girls, welcome back to the art room, and we are going to continue on with our worm's eye view snowman. This is part 2. So last class, we drew the snowman from this bottom perspective, like we were a tiny little worm looking up at him. You should have outlined it in a Sharpie marker. They are permanent markers because for this technique that we're going to be doing today, you are going to need your regular markers. So a Crayola marker works best. If you don't have Crayola brand, it's okay. As long as the markers are water-based markers, this technique will work. Water-based markers just mean that this permanent mark here is nowhere on the box, so don't use permanent color markers for this next spot. So we're going to be coloring these with marker, and the technique that we're going to do is called painting with markers. So we have our markers, and we are going to begin by just coloring just as we would normally would. So we are going to take, I'm gonna start like doing some of the details. I'm gonna do the carrot nose, and I'm gonna actually leave a little bit of this white so it kind of looks like there's a highlight on his nose there. And then I'm going to do the same for the hat here. So let's do this like a candy cane hat. All right, now we are going to take our blue marker, because you would say, okay, I'm done. My snowman's white. It's a wintry day. Everything's white, white, white. Well, that's true, but it doesn't quite look as real as we could do it. So we are going to take our blue marker, and here's where this technique comes in. You are going to take your blue marker and you're going to just make a line of blue along this edge here. And then we're going to do the same along this edge of the second snowball. And then we are going to do a line along the third snowball here. And I'm gonna go over it so I get a nice, thick, dark blue line. All right, now you are going to need to get a cup of water, which I have here, and your watercolor brush. So here's where the painting part comes in. You're gonna get your brush loaded with water, and then we are going to color over this blue. And as you pull it to the white of the paper, look at that. It creates this sort of icy shadow. And already my snowman is starting to look more 3D. Isn't this awesome? So watercolor-based or water-based markers actually can be painted with if you just put water, add water on top of it. And it makes this sort of really cool halo effect. See how that drags that color onto the white of the paper, and it creates sort of this 3D shadow. Isn't that cool? You don't want to color the whole snowball, obviously it's not all blue. We just want to see the shadow sort of here on the left side. So play around with that. I'll show you up close how it looks. Isn't that cool? Looks really neat. You can add a little bit more if you like this technique. You can kind of go around some of your snowflakes in the sky and add a little bit of blue. I'm going to rinse my brush, and then very, very, very carefully I'm just going to paint through. And my stick, where the white parts are, that brown will sort of turn into a light brown. Pretty cool technique, isn't it? I think so. Awesome. All right, so I'm gonna hold it up closer so you can see that technique on the branches and how that looks. Just a little bit of color is all we're adding to this, and then that water just kind of softens that blue a little bit, gives it sort of a 3D look, a little shading on your Worm's Eye View snowman. All right, once you have colored your snowman, you are going to take a picture of it and put it on the Artsonia website. Make sure it goes in the Worm's Eye View art gallery. You can give it a title, and if you want to give it an artist statement, maybe tell me what you liked best about this drawing or the painting part of it. And I can't wait to see your work. Next week we will be starting a new project, and maybe it will be Valentine's inspired since that's our next holiday coming up. Have a wonderful week, my friends, and I will see you next time in the art room. Bye.